Welcome to Lake Cumberland Amateur Radio Association. You can find us at LCARA.net, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Instagram.
Welcome, this is Chris, KY4CKP.
And I'm Brian, KY4BDP.
And we're here today. We want to talk a little bit about our YouTube channel for the LCARA, Lake Cumberland Amateur Radio Association, and what we're going to be covering and what we want to accomplish with our channel, and explore a little bit about our journey as newly licensed hams.
Absolutely. We just started. We're not old hams, but the great thing that we have in our favor is we have a great local club with a lot of talent and a lot of experience with ham radio.
Exactly. And that's a big part of what we want to bring to the social media that's out there. We have our Facebook page, we have Instagram, YouTube now, and our website, LCARA.net as well. And we'll link to all of those in the description below. But we want to show the club the knowledge that the club has acquired. And there's a lot of these types of clubs around the country, and we want to share some of what we have, make that available to folks, especially remote folks that may not have a local club, but they could still gain information from online resources such as this.
Absolutely. There's a lot of good channels out there, for instance, on ham radio, but not as focused on the club. And Chris said there are a lot of local clubs that maybe not as active as they could be. And what we're going to try to do is revitalize some of this through the activities, document the activities that the club is involved in. Again, we're fortunate. We have a club that is active. We're also going to be bringing you some gear reviews. There are gear review channels, but we're going to do, our focus is going to be on outdoor activities, outdoor-based events. So SOTA, Summits on the Air, Park on the Air. We made up one, Hotels on the Air, because Chris and I travel a great deal in our jobs. So gear reviews, using the technologies out in the field.
Yeah, we want to show you can have fun with this hobby. A lot of the different aspects of the hobby, technology has come a long way. It's not just a dry old tube radio in a dark corner of the basement somewhere. There's a lot of cool technologies, computer, digital modes, and you can practice the hobby almost anywhere. If you do travel, if you get out, if you like to go to the parks, go to the beach, there's a lot of places you can experience the ham radio and enjoy your hobby in more times and places than you might have realized.
Absolutely. And again, our gear reviews are going to be short and to the point. This is how we would use this if we were out in the field. So a lot of good channels do in-depth reviews. That won't be our focus. It'll be how do we use this in the best way possible when we're at a park, at the beach, in a hotel, those kinds of events.
Yeah, some of the common features, the ones that help you clean up the sound, clean up the noise, just get you in there and enjoy the equipment that you have. And it doesn't have to be real expensive equipment either. There's relatively inexpensive equipment. You can get started with the hobby and start to meet other folks, even internationally, not only with an actual radio, but with your computer, terms and tools like Echolink. We'll talk about those. And so it can really be a worldwide experience. And also, again, a very physical outdoor experience. Doesn't just have to be inside. And there's going to be some of that, especially on a rainy day maybe. But we want to show the outdoors a lot as well.
And then we're probably, well, not probably, but we're going to also be covering a number of projects within the club context. And one of the things that I think a lot of people really don't realize that aren't in ham radio is ham radio was one of the first maker hobbies, wasn't it?
Exactly. When you think about it, people all had to make their own radios. You couldn't really get into this hobby for a lot of years unless you made a radio, pretty much from scratch. And getting that knowledge was quite a bit more difficult back then, but people still managed to do it. Today, it can be a lot easier, I think a lot of fun, and use a lot of the modern technologies. If you've got 3D printing, if you have a simple solder station where you can do some stuff, you can basically be as hands-on or hands-off as you want to be. And so it can really have something for everybody.
Absolutely. We're also going to, again, include a lot of the members of the club, and we want to be able to capture some of their knowledge and some of the reasons why they stuck it out in ham radio. So member interviews will be a big portion of our club. Also, we want to start a series called LCARA on the road, and when Chris and I do travel, what are the different ways we're going to use our radios? And there'll be some series thrown in there as well as far as emergency type elements as well.
Yeah, and speaking of emergency elements, one of the things we're also going to be talking about and covering, and it's been a big part of the amateur radio history since the inception, is emergency communications and helping out in times of emergency.
Right.
Hams have helped out over the decades and still do to this very day. We don't always hear as much about it in mainstream news sources, but every hurricane, every major disaster, ham radio is called upon to help bolster the communications because cell phone towers, they get jammed up. They're just not always available or as effective as they would be normally. And ham radio can still help out with that.
Absolutely, because power goes out for a lot of different reasons, whether it's hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, possibly ice storms. Once the power goes out, a lot of us are so dependent on our cell phones that if the battery goes down, we don't have a good way to recharge that. Could there be an alternative so that we can still reach out to our loved ones when we're on the road, or reach out to somebody that can then relay it in? Ham radio can do that.
Exactly. So one of the series we're going to be doing, and also one of our components in our videos, is going to be, our club was fortunate in that they had put together a comms trailer years ago, used it quite a bit, but it's been off the road for a few years. Still a great trailer. We want to get it back on the road, get it in use, get it into our videos, and make it available for the club. Here in the United States, at least, field day is coming up not too long from now. We want to get it back on the road for field day. And just get it back into use and get it around our community. Make sure our community is aware that ham radio is still there and can still be valuable.
Valuable. That's the thing that I keep coming back to. Ham radio is a valuable community service, and we want to make sure that we can kind of ensure that this legacy continues onward.
Exactly. So we hope you enjoy the content on the channel. Please share, like, and subscribe. Hit that bell icon to make sure you're notified when we have new content. And again, check out all of our social media. We have our Facebook page, Lake Cumberland Area Radio, Lake Cumberland ARA. We have LCARA Ham Radio here on YouTube. We have LCARA Club on Instagram. Be sure and check out all the media, our website, LCARA.net. And again, if you don't have a local club, you'll be able to join our club and others that are out there. So the information is available through the social media that we have today. And there's going to be a club somewhere, hopefully local to you, and you can do some things in person, but digitally as well. There's ways that you can participate.
And keep in mind, we're not going to be your local club more than likely. So find a local club, but use us as your second club. There's a lot of ham radio operators that are they're members of more than one club because they're getting different things from each club.
Exactly. I belong to two clubs myself. A club that's near where I actually live, and then this club, which is a little bit further south of me.
Right.
But with my brother living here, I'm down here a lot. I use their resources, want to support them. So, and then online, again, you can find further resources. So, and most clubs, I think, are going to be welcoming to that. They want to help share the knowledge and share the information.
So remember, subscribe, like, hit the notification bell, participate. Channels like this need your help and your subscriptions and your likes. And down in the comments, let us know what you like and let us know what you'd like to see.
Well, this is Chris, KY4CKP.
And this is Brian, KY4BDP, for the Lake Cumberland Amateur Radio Association. 73.